Welcome home. We are WNST, AM 1570 Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. I'm practicing a new script here at the beginning about setting a place on your dial for AM 1570, because I had so many people say, oh, you still do radio? I get you on YouTube. I get you on Facebook. I get you on LinkedIn. Whoa, we had a week last week. We were out all week long doing Crab Cake Row, a cup of Super Bowl week. Because we're going to have because we're going to Roman numerals next year for this. All of it was presented by our friends. I'm wearing my Window Nation shirt, 86690 Nation, our friends at the Maryland Lottery. I gave more of these 10 times the cashes away. Roz gave them to me, and I was like, Oprah, you get a ticket. You get a ticket. I had won 10 times the winner, but it was only $2, so it was $20. But the person felt very, very good about it at Coco's last week. Also, our friends at Jiffy Lube, Multi-Care. I'm not doing a ton of radio here this week in the aftermath of what was a very exciting Super Bowl overtime. Patrick Mahomes. This guy's decided to wear a red thing. You're wearing that because you heard my Believable Foundation last week piece with Santa Claus, right, John Martin? That's why you're wearing the red today?
Today is, as we're taping this, Valentine's Day. So first and foremost,
okay.
Happy Valentine's Day to you and yours, Nestor.
You do look lovely. Yes, I would say red. Good call. Every day, John, every day today, I got full disclosure for you as a primary reason we went out and did this and we gave tickets away. I'm tired. I don't want to quote Blazing Saddles and Lily Von Stupp, but I'm tired. And I thought I was going to do 100 charities last week. I only did 68. I did 68. Actually, there were 70 because two people plugged two charities. And then I had 70 pieces of content on my desk. So I'm not shaving until it's all done. So I just want you to take over the show this week because you didn't come last week and you sent Roz out and we had fun and we talked about little kitties and all of her charities. But you ducked me last week, a Super Bowl week. Did you have the winner?
Yeah, sort of, but that's for just non-promotional purposes.
Of course.
You know what? You said red. Actually, it's scarlet because with the gray tie, scarlet and gray. You can take the boy out of Ohio, but you can't take the Ohio out of the boy.
Got a new offensive coordinator, do you?
Well, let's put a pin in that for later.
I've had breakfast with Chip, and my wife went to the same high school that Chip went to in Manchester.
So my wife follows many years apart. Many years apart.
Of course, but she follows Chip's career. So John Martin has been following my career and the cup. So last week we do a cup of Super Bowl. We went out. We did all. John, I cried 10 and a half times. I got knocked off the air 4 times, and only 2 of them were my fault. I had no equipment. We had this amazing, amazing week, but I know you had an amazing month in January. It's something you want to talk about. I watched the big game at Hollywood Casino up in Perryville. Lots of folks. They actually had the Nickelodeon Super Bowl on in the middle, and I got to see sliming, and I got to see a big heart drawn around Travis Kelce, and the chyron said, Taylor Swift's boyfriend. So, but we predicted this for sports wagering, right, in January with the first time it's really been open. The Ravens were involved. There were local interest. This was a big month, and I know this is your chance to talk about, we're doing the sports wagering thing, but you won't believe where this money goes because it goes to education in our state.
January was record-shattering in the sports wagering annals of Maryland history. And all that we're talking about in January all happened during the playoffs. It wasn't even the Super Bowl, which we'll pick up next month. But yes, in the month of January, we set an all-time record, $8.2 million contribution to the state in terms of the tax revenues. The handle was over $545 million, the amount wagered. And then the hold, which is the key part, how much is wagered, how much is actually held by the casinos after they pay out their prizes, because that then dictates how much the 15% of that then goes to the state. So it's
you
very
only
much
get the tax when the casino does well, you do well. If God forbid, and I know I just saw the big game in Vegas. They built a lot of casinos out there on wagering, and we can fill in any punchline we want over the last 75 years of saying you go to Vegas, lost wages when you land and all that. But when the casino wins, that's where this money comes from. Because I never really thought about that intellectually. Because I
Sure.
think, yeah, you're a casino, you can't get out of business. I don't know, Atlantic City. I mean, we could talk about things that can go awry in that business, but that business needs to be well managed too for the state to win. Correct?
There's clearly a business part of it, but then there's also an emotional part of it that you really can't detach. And I'll give you a good example. This is meant to be just factual, not emotional from my part. Clearly a lot of people in the state of Maryland bet on the Ravens to beat the Chiefs. And when that didn't happen, the casinos or the sports wagering sports books in Maryland did very well. So had it gone the other way, to your point, it would have been,
Contribution might have been less.
boy, a lot less.
Oh,
That
really?
oh yeah, yeah,
See,
yeah.
I mean, I don't honestly, and I come from this from the heart, right? I mean, I've been a sports guy
Yeah.
32 years. I literally at 6:20 was at the bar at Hollywood Casino, and I said to my wife, we had some chips because we've been playing blackjack, and we'd won a little bit. But we're having a good time. We always have a good time when we go, and we responsible, know our limit. I mean, all of that. I'm not drinking when I'm gambling. But I said to my wife, I had a feeling about the Chiefs, and I said if I were gonna bet, I would bet the Chiefs. And my wife's like, well, there's two $25 chips there. Take them up and bet. And I didn't. But I've never really bet on a game in my life. Like it was part, and you can fill in whatever punchline you want after I saw people broadcasting from Radio Row who are not radio people last week, and I'm here, but I never bet on a game, and it would have been the thing that they would have thrown me out for. It would have been
Yeah.
if you were a gambler, if you were looking like in my industry, in my business, and now that it's sort of on the up and up in the way we talk about it, I have not really pieced together all of this the information that you just gave me about people betting very emotionally here with the Ravens, and the same thing would be true in Kansas or Missouri, right, with the
Oh,
Chiefs,
sure.
and the
And
same
it's
thing would be
understandable.
sure, same thing
Right.
in Northern California with the 49ers last week, right?
It's certainly understandable. And that's why we stress that people, have a plan, they stick with it. They kind of bet with their head and not their heart, although it's understandable in the situation. But that's the nature of the game. So,
So I'm
next
a
time
neophyte about it. So 8 point, like,
there were
and you,
$8.2 million went to the state of Maryland. And
as
that's
an
based,
example, what did October, November, December look like from monthly where you can bet on games, lots of games, college games, all of that, right?
yeah, I want to say the previous high was 6.5 million, and that was in December.
Okay. So it's
So
ascending, right? We're still
yeah,
there. Yeah.
right. So anywhere between, especially during the peak of football season, in the $4 to $6 million range on a monthly basis is pretty good. And then during the off months when you don't have as much activity, it may be half of that.
Well, then
But
March Madness will pick it up in a couple of
right,
weeks, right?
right,
Okay.
right, right. But yeah, clearly the amount of wagering that went on in the state, and while we don't break it down by what they wagered on, you can kind of read between the lines and figure that was a lot of heavy Ravens action. That when it did materialize, the casinos in the state benefited from that. But that's just one aspect of it. You look at what not only from Maryland Lottery and Gaming. I mean, it's great to have that in January, but it's also fun, Nestor. People winning lottery prizes.
My wife and I were talking about this like literally Sunday. We were going to Hollywood, actually. We drove some back roads. We saw eagles up at Conowingo. It's been not the Philadelphia Eagles, the
Oh,
real birds. And we went past literally a ROFO and saw the jackpots at like 300 something, 100. There were three digits in both of the windows. And I'm driving along, and I said to my wife, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna bust John's chops this week because like I've known you a couple years now. We haven't not had that magic moment where you have to run out to Boonesboro or Salisbury because like someone won 300 million, not 1.8 billion, or when you and I get crazy about it, but
yeah.
it's been a little while since, and my wife's like, it's always Minnesota or California. I don't know why she picked Minnesota, but she's like, they always win the jackpots. I'm like, someday, and the numbers are coming up. There's going to come a point where there's going to come a day where there's going to be 150, 200, some measly little $300 million jackpot where like the cameras and the lights are going to be on at a local ROFO or something, right? Like that happens to you when it happens, right?
Well, you know what? That may be a bygone era. First of all, let's just establish this. I don't run.
You don't. You
So,
walk. Right.
if yeah,
Right. Okay. Okay. You have
I
people for
can't run.
that.
I pull a hamstring. That's not a good look when the
I don't want
director
that
has to
either.
limp into the
I
shot.
can barely stand this week, bro.
Yeah, that's not a good look. But secondly, we have become so insulated with these jackpot runs that it doesn't even get attention on back of the beast section if anybody's printing newspapers anymore. So it just doesn't grab that interest. It's only the $1 billion plus. And then, of course, the circus and the starts when that runs. But right, we're at triple digits in both Powerball and Mega Millions. Also, multi-match, our sleepy little jackpot Maryland State game is knocking on the door of 900,000 plus.
John,
Whenever
I'm
that trips
serious
over
now.
a
So at
million,
457 million in Mega Millions, 285 in Powerball, as we do this on Valentine's Day, if someone in Essex or Rosedale hits 457 million dollars on the number tonight, like that leads the news here. Like, come on, that's a lot of money, man.
it is a lot of money,
It's
and
got to
and
lead the
I
news.
and I would be out there with the ceremonial check.
All right. Yeah. And then
And
my wife would say, finally, it's not Minnesota or California. I don't know why she picked those two, but I said I was going to talk to you because it would be a big deal,
sure
right?
it would, sure it would,
Okay. All right. I,
sure it
I
would.
just, you're like, well, we'll all go to sleep on that. And then my wife also said, nobody wins $1 million. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Honey, 2 weeks ago, we had $1 million scratch off winner here. I said, people still win $1 million. You just, to your point, you don't hear about a million, but you would hear about 457 million, I hope, right?
I would hope so too. And now that you put it out there, let's hope that the jackpot gods are favorably listening, and they if they want to anoint some lucky person in the greater Baltimore area to win one of these wonderful prizes. I will tell you right now, I guarantee I will get dressed up. I don't know if I'll wear the scarlet and gray. I may wear something else, but I will be out there with the ceremonial winner's check and hand the ceremonial check to the retailer, because retailers get a lovely cash bonus of in either case there would be $100,000 to the retailer, which, boy, that'll keep you in business for a few weeks. So yeah, people are excited about it if it happens in their store, and we will certainly be there to share that excitement with them.
All right. I'm always excited about having John Martin on. He's the executive director of all things Maryland Lottery and Gaming. And we talked a lot of sports wagering. You got winners, right? I mean, you got some big winners here this week. We talked about $1 million scratch offs and stuff, but I know you have a nice little list of people that come to your door and say, when they win, I always tell people when I give these out, I'm like, if it says CMD Lottery, go out the side door and call Doug Lloyd, do not pass go, find John. But that's the big thing. And you have those folks visiting you every day.
Last week we had a winner of our Cash for Life game. It's a kind of a niche game. It's if you happen to have the winning numbers, the top prize is $1,000 a day for life. I'll do the quick math. That's 365 or 366 this year, $365,000 every year. Or you can opt for
Makes me
cash
want to live a long time,
if you want. Yeah, but we did have a lucky winner of the second tier prize, which is $1,000 a week. Again, quick math, that's $52,000 a year. If you don't like to take your winnings in annual installments for the next, who knows, 30, 40, 50 years of your life, depending on your age when you purchase the ticket, you can cash out for a $20 valuation, which would be $1 million. And you can get that as a lump sum. So that's something to consider. That winner has not come forward yet.
That's
so
a nice lump. That's a good lump to have. Yeah.
Yeah, that winner in was that a Silver Spring retailer. We don't know the winner themselves was in Silver Spring. They could have just been passing through or in the neighborhood. But when that person comes through, they will have a decision to make. Do they want to get $52,000 a year for the rest of their life, or do they want to take a cash option before taxes of $1 million? So that's
you
always
sold
fun,
the
people.
ticket and you don't have the winner yet.
Right.
So we're on lookout for this person. Okay.
Right. So there's the dilemma. Here's the interactive part of the show. What would you, Nestor? Would you opt for $52,000 a year, or would you opt for $1 million before taxes one time?
When I was 23, it was a very good year. I probably would have taken but I would get lumpy. What I would do, and this you're gonna like this. I would consult with professionals, is what I would do. But I think I would take the lump sum. I think I would take the lump sum. I'd
All
have to
right.
talk that over with, my
There's no
financial
wrong answer.
people,
There
and
is, yeah, there's no
but
wrong
so if
answer.
you answer it right and I get hit by a car next week, what happens?
Oh no,
Or
you
should I
you would
ask that?
you would well
My
your
my
your
kid and my
your
wife
wife.
cash in?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
All
your
right.
wife would be the beneficiary of that. Uh,
Okay. All right. Well,
so yeah,
it's a good
we
problem to have. It really
oh
is.
yeah, nice problem to have. The nice problem is how do you spend $50,000? That is a pick five top prize winner. We talked about our pick five game before, relatively new into our lineup in the last several years. You pick five random numbers. This gentleman decided to use his old zip code. Now, I don't know why he didn't use his new zip code. There's an interesting question to ask him on the
I got
follow up.
into this because I was in Dundalk last week. There's a real thing over there about whether you're 21222, 21221, which pushes you across the bridge into Essex because of the Essex Dundalk thing. So, I mean, I'd hate like hell to play 21224 because that's where I grew up, which is really a Highland Town zip code, even though it parts of Dundalk. And then like 21222 or 21221 hits, right? So they're all kind of close.
Well, he chose the zip code of his childhood home, which is 20783. A $1 straight bet on that will get you $50,000.
Wow.
And for that, you might consider moving out into a new zip code. Who knows? Who knows what that does for you? But there's a lot of fun with that. And then the last one I'll share with you is a Catonsville construction worker. Incidentally, all these stories you can find on mdlottery.com and check out winter stories. I'm just going to tease you with a few here. There are many, many more across the whole spectrum of games.
People really
that are
do
offered.
win. I guess that's our point here.
People
And they
really
have a
do
good time.
win.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And this Catonsville construction worker, you talked about your times the cash scratch off ticket that you hand
This one
out
right
in
here.
events. Yep. He won on the 50 times the cash, which is a $10 value ticket. He won the top prize of $100,000. Doesn't know what he's going to do with it yet, which is fine. Take some time, let that sink in, and enjoy your winnings wisely, sir.
Well, I had a fella that came by actually in Catonsville who's running, and I'll promote him. He's running a run for MS across the country. He's doing 5 days of marathon through your state, through Ohio and Pennsylvania. He's actually a guy from Jersey, and he came by, got a ticket. 3 hours later, I get a text, and he had scratched the ticket off, take a picture of it, and sent it to me. And I saw the 10X, but it was a $2. But I learned about it. And I'm like, oh, he won 20. I looked at it, and I'm like, I think he won $20. But you know what I tell people to do? I tell them all the time because I gave a lot of tickets out this week. 3 stacks at 6 days. We did 5 days, and then I was in Hollywood Casino. I tell people, just download the app and do it. Do it. And the one woman's like, that's like cheating. And I'm like, no, it's like makes it easier. And then at Coco's, they said, we always know when you're here. And this, I'm going to blame you and Roz for this, John. All the little silver stuff schmutz all over the bar when you're here. And I'm like, if people just use the scanner, they wouldn't have this problem. And you made it available. You've made it easier for people, but people still like to get a little dirty with the silver stuff.
They do. There's it's that tactile thing, right? You got to feel it.
Old
You got
school.
to get the schmutz under your nails, and that. Hey, you know what's also fun? Tongue twisters, and your cup of soup or bowl. I'm getting better at that.
Witty.
Cup
It was
of soup or
witty.
bowl.
A cup of soup or bowl. Don't get me C indeed. Come on now. Come on.
All right.
All right.
But yeah. But that's kind of we've got one for you. How about this one? Double pay on box play. Double pay on box play.
It almost sounds like a baseball thing, like double play.
Well,
okay, but
right, but it's not. It's double pay.
Double pay
on box play. Our pick 3, pick 4, pick 5. They're fan favorites out there, and people like to box those numbers. And what does that mean? Well, let's keep it simple. If I pick 3 and my number is 1, 2, 3, and I want to box all the variable combinations, meaning I win if it's 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1,
Or in my case,
213.
936, and I won the Springsteen ticket. We talked about that from a long
Right,
time
right.
ago.
So if you do all of those combinations on a pick 3 ticket, it's called a 6-way box. You bet $1 on that. Your normal payout would be $80. If, however, your ticket, as it prints, says on the top of the ticket, double pay on box play, congratulations. That means you are now eligible, should that be a winning ticket, to double your pay. So your $80 becomes $160. And we're doing that for pick 3, pick 4, and pick 5 now through March 10th.
All right, so you got like a month to get in on this double action. I got you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So that's fun. Also, it's also fun is our fast play tickets, the games that are kind of a hybrid. They play like a scratch. Hey, you know what? This is what you'll tell Cocos. Let's sell some fast play out there. There's no schmutz.
Well,
no
there's
schmutz
progressives
involved.
on those too, right?
There are progressive on those. And when in the month of February, each Friday, and you still have a couple Fridays left in the month of February, we have a special promotion. Any $5 fast play game, you have a chance to win a free $10 or $20 fast play game. So we have five $5 games in market. You pick one of those. You may be lucky enough to win on a random basis a $10 or $20 fast play game. So that's a lot of fun.
All right. Well, you can go to MD Lottery. I'm on here, winners and news. How could you not talk about the Eastern Shore man scoring a $5 million prize on 50-year scratch off?
Because I think Roz already talked about it.
All right, that's fine. We talked about that last week. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I had a good time with Roz.
You get fresh stuff here. This is fresh stuff.
Hey, I offered you free cup of Super Bowl last week, and you sent Roz, and she cleaned up. I don't know what else to say, But I'll get you back out. We're putting the crab cake tour in a little bit. I'm coming up with ideas. John, I don't know if you know this, baseball season's coming. And yeah, it's right around the corner. Pitchers and
catchers.
I know, nice. It's great, isn't it? That's why the sun's shining behind me. I have to move from the football. I'm going to go back to the warehouse motif here behind me in sunshine. But this whole baseball thing's this is going to be very exciting this year for baseball. And I know you guys have home run riches. Someone on the inside told me exactly what you guys are doing this year. I hear the promotion's going to be a grand slam, but when are we going to fully make that known as to what we're doing with home run riches?
Pretty soon.
Okay.
It's probably scheduled for our March lineup. So, if you hang on a couple more weeks.
Well, you tease me with double pay and double. I was thinking double play and
We got plenty to keep us all busy between now and March.
All right, you can find me down at Fadley's in Lexington Market before games. I will probably have these. We're probably going to be doing some crab cake tours at the new Fadley's. They're going to get in there. I swear, we were there last week. We were at Fadley's on Monday. We were at Costas on Tuesday. We were at Coco's on Wednesday. We were at State Fair all day Thursday. And on Friday, we ended up at Pappas. I cried 10.5 times. It was all brought to you by the Maryland Lottery, our friends at Window Nation, 866-90Nation, where you get 0% financing if you purchase for 5 years, as well as our friends at Jiffy Lube Multicare. Leonard Raskin got back from Hawaii. We had Wendy Bronfine down. I had Bill Cole came by and did a couple hours. The segments with Bill Cole at State Fair were unbelievable. Mike Rosenfeld joined us on Friday, and we chatted with all sorts of folks. I had Chris Corman, editor from the Baltimore Banner. So I did 40 hours of content, which is like a whole lot. So if you're checking it out at Baltimore Positive, if you're listening in, if you're tuning in, we really appreciate it. It's a little bit of a slower period, but it's going to pick up very, very quickly here as baseball gets going. We've re-released the Peter Principles. I've been writing some columnists, and I am 70 charities behind on getting stuff up at Baltimore Positive. So bear with us. Happy Valentine's Day. John, I will see you next week. I am Nestor. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. We never stop talking Baltimore Positive.